Philippine P-51s, F-86s of the Philippine Air Force, and the Philippine Aerobatics team, called the Blue Diamonds, go through their paces.
A pilot I could survive the first 3 years or 5 years of his fighter flying is a great accomplishment. My greatest accomplishment was to be alive. Dahil at that time, maraming namamatay. I am Antonio Sotelo, now 91 years old. I became a cadet in 1954. I was already a third-year mechanical engineering student sa Mapua Institute of Technology. Alam ko kung ganong kahirap ang pamilya ko. Even just the money for tuition was difficult. When I saw, kailangan nila kadete doon sa flying school. Sinubukan ko nag-examine. I passed and then I became a cadet. And finally, I became a pilot.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
Before the Air Force became an Air Force, during the Second World War, when air power can win wars on its own, the Air Force became a separate major service. I'm Lieutenant General William K. Hotchkiss III, AFP, retired. I was born and raised in Cantilan, Surigao del Sur, Mindanao. My grandfather on my father's side was an American educator who came here in 1906 as a public school teacher. In third year high school, I was looking at the sky, then I saw contrails. I said, I want to be that.
I was born 10 days before MacArthur landed in Leyte, October 10, 1944. He landed in October 20. I am Lieutenant General Willie Cacdac Florendo, AFP, retired. I was born in Naguilian, La Union. My father was a veteran. He joined the Death March, was imprisoned in Capas, and when he was released, he joined the guerrilla movement in northern Luzon.
500 miles south of Manila, a land of heavy jungle and numerous creeks, Mindanao has been the main battleground of the war. For the young Muslim rebels, it's ideal guerrilla country. These men belong to the Bangsa Moro Army, a fighting force now 20,000 strong that's proved itself the equal of the Filipino Army.
When I joined the strike wing was heavily involved in the fight against the secessionist movement in Mindanao. That was an exciting part of my life. I became a combat-ready pilot, an element lead, a test pilot, flight commander, XO, and then eventually I became squadron commander of the 25th Attack Squadron. I'm General Charles Hotchkiss. I come from Cantilan, Surigao del Sur. I was born and bred in the province. My parents were both public school teachers. You're wondering where my name came from. My grandfather was an American teacher during the American occupation. I joined the flying school because I was encouraged and inspired by my brother, who was at the time already a member of the Blue Diamonds.
As of now, we really need an aviation cadet program because it is too expensive. It is beyond an ordinary person's capacity to pay. You need at least for training alone a minimum of 2 million pesos as a cadet training fee. And that is only after you graduate, and you need some more payment for that to go to earn some flying time. And an ordinary Filipino cannot afford that. I am Captain Hernani L. Locson. I came from Silay City, Negros Occidental. I belong to Philippine Air Force Flying School, Class 63A. Ever since I was small, all the time I was studying, my thinking was geared into becoming a pilot.
The best aviators in this country were graduates of the aviation cadets. PAL, Air Force, anywhere in the Philippines. The best pilots were the aviation cadet pilots. You look at all the commanding generals, yung mga flying school nandiyan, yung mga leaders of the Blue Diamond Flying School, mga wing commanders, presidential flying school.
The flying school was generally a reaction of the Second World War. It was MacArthur who was our sort of military commander here. MacArthur, for all his brilliance in ground warfare, did not have a good appreciation of air power at the time. When Pearl Harbor happened, he had an Air Force here. It's Philippine Army Air Corps yet at the time. But he did not prepare it so that when the Japanese came here, he was surprised again when in fact Pearl Harbor already happened. For all his brilliance, as I said, he was defeated the first time. He had to retreat to Australia. When he came back, he had a full force of the U.S. Air Force at the time. Wala pang U.S. Air Force din, 1947 na naging major services. But he had a full appreciation of air power at the time.
You don't need a college graduate to join the Air Force. That was during our time. It appealed to many undergraduates from different schools, from engineering schools, from UP, Ateneo, LaSalle. When I saw that poster in Mapua many years ago, join the Air Force and be a jet pilot. Join the Air Force and see the world. That's what motivated me to enter. And it has brought me blessings, bring back the Aviation Cadet program.
You need young pilots. So, lalo na ngayon, senior high, mag-graduate ka 18. Mag-college ka 22. Mag-officer training ka for 18 months. Magto 24 ka na. Magpa-flying school ka pa. Samantalang kung pasok ka ng 18 years old, pag-graduate mo ng 22, mag-flying training ka lang, sandali na lang eh. Officer ka na.
I had to drop out of college because I had 6 other brothers and sisters. With the salary of a school teacher, we could not afford it anymore. Bago pa lang noon ang B-52, flying at contrail level. That inspired me. I said, I want to be a jet pilot. One of my classmates, nakita niya yung tinawanan ako. Fortunately, I passed the Air Force entrance exam and went as an aviation cadet. So, wala nang financial burden yung parents ko sa akin.
Because of the modern times. We'll have modern airplanes, and I think I read in the papers that the US is finally selling us F-16s. Finally, and modern aircraft, so modern aviation, avionics, modern armaments, modern everything, no? So whatever you call it, aviation cadet program, still the same. Produce the pilots and produce the right officers for a modern Air Force.
The best pilots in this country were graduates of the Aviation Cadet program. That's why we would like to bring that back.